Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360 here from the News Hub at Adisawe, Kanda. I am Natalie Ford.
And my name is Alfred Okanse. Coming up in the next 60 minutes tonight.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Agric experts warn armyworm infestation of crops across the country could reach catastrophic levels.
And also Health Ministry assures unposted nurses of financial clearance in a week after another round of picketing.
Isumaka Obodem Brakwa district of the Central Region ranked highest in teenage pregnancy in the country as teenage girls allegedly offer sex for 1 cedi.
And on the foreign front, parents of abducted Chibok girls say they have not been given the opportunity to know if their daughters are among the 82 freed by Boko Haram. The details of these and more coming up tonight. Now to our first story this evening. The Center for Agriculture and Bioscience International say the fall army worms which have affected 9 regions of Ghana can have devastating impact of up to 100%. Plant-wise country coordinator for West Africa at the Center for Agriculture and Bioscience International, Begeto Opong Mensah, appealed to farmers to report early if they find the worms on their farms.
Ghana and other African countries have been invaded by the fall armyworm. Native to the Americas, the fall armyworm is mobile and attacks maize and a wide variety of other crops and natural grass. Here in Ghana and its neighbors, the impact of the fall armyworm is high. This is due to large areas cultivated with maize, rice and sorghum. The fall armyworms were first detected in Ghana in February last year, and by December 9 regions had been affected. This prompted a stakeholders workshop last month at which the sector minister was briefed on the impact of the situation. Parliament has been asked to declare what is termed as agricultural state of emergency as the fall armyworm invasion has spread countrywide. Agriculture Minister Dr. Wuse Friyakoto wants to rope in Parliament to assist in tackling the pests which are capable of destroying all plants on a farm. In a memo to Cabinet, the Agric Minister asked that Parliament allows unbudgeted funds for a mass spraying exercise. According to the Center for Agriculture and Bioscience International, CABI, early detection of the worms which are different from what are peculiar to Ghana is key to their control.
This was not a pest that is known to occur in Africa. In most countries, just like Ghana, we don't even have products that are registered for use on that particular pesticide for particular crops. And so that's one of the things that we would need to research into as a country to determine.
Plant-wise country coordinator for West Africa at Center for Agriculture and Bioscience International, Begeto Opong Mensah, urged farmers to target the center of plants where the fall armyworms attack and hide.
The pesticides are most effective when applied very early. The important thing is to target that hole, the center of the plant, because most of the time they hide there, especially during the day when the weather is hot. And that would at least ensure that some contact is made with the caterpillar.
She encouraged farmers to plow the soil to kill the adult worms which hide in the soil after harvest, awaiting the start of the following crop season.
Away from that, the Health Ministry has requested an additional week to secure financial clearance for some unposted nurses. The aggrieved nurses who have been picketing at the ministry in Accra are demanding financial clearance after having completed training 3 years ago.
This is the second time in 2 weeks the nurses requiring to be posted have besieged the Health Ministry. In the last meeting, the sector ministry requested 2 weeks to secure them financial clearance.
Just one day, some group of health trainees comes here to picket, and all of a sudden, in less than 2 weeks, their petition has been granted, their clearance has been released, and we have come here and we have been speaking with the ministry on positive grounds, trying to dialogue, even begging.
But unposted nurses are back at the premises to mount pressure on the ministry for failing to get them financial clearance.
It's a headache on the ministry itself, and we want to clear that. So I am assuring you that you exercise patience. Give us up to next week. Give me your numbers. The leaders should give me your numbers. I'll call you and give you a positive feedback.
A Deputy Minister of Health, Tina Mensah, pleaded with them for an additional week to get their issues resolved. She implored the nurses to rescind their decision on picketing to get their demands met.
Should we have it in our presumption that next week we are going to have our financial clearance?
Like ask your other group. I told them, because when somebody says go, I'm going to work on it as a woman, as a mother. I will make sure that you go, because I would like to keep to my word. It wouldn't even get to the time I'm promising you, and we'll call you and then we'll assure you that everything is all right.
Earlier, the public relations officer at the ministry, Robert Kujo, spoke about plans to ensure the finance ministry releases the clearance.
Appealing to finance to speed up the process for us. That is all that we can do. Because we don't sign. There's no way our minister can tell the finance minister, if you don't have time, let him have it and sign. He can't do it. So until finance gives us the green light, there's very little that we can do.
Currently, the health ministry is still considering the approval and recruitment of about 20,000 health professionals, including doctors, in the next few months.
Away from the lawyers for the former chief executive of the Micro and Small Loan Center, Maslock, have indicated they would not countenance any media discourse that will denigrate the client and label her as having committed any wrongdoing. The Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, has written to the former Maslock boss to assist it in questioning and also answering some questions about his issues.
Confidential letter dated May 4, the Economic and Organized Crimes Office requested the former Chief Executive Officer of the Micro and Small Loan Center, Sedinam Tamaklo Ationu, to assist it with information in pursuant to Section 19 of Act 80410. Lawyers for Sedinam says EOCO in itself was not ready with what they were demanding.
We had also gone to EOCO. I can tell you it was a friendly, it was cordial relationship with the top echelon of EOCO. We discussed and they said yes. Even with the invitation that had come, yes, they were trying to look at some issue that had come up at Maslock. But they hadn't even done much that would even ask her whether she should be answering questions or producing some documents for now.
Her lawyers have pledged full cooperation with the investigative body, while EOCO has yet to give a clear indication of what they want. The lawyers have already shown their zeal in treating the invite with all caution.
You know, most people do not understand the process or the law. So they run the person down. The person, they've fabricated stories because they've not even seen the invitation, what they said the person has done. And the possibility where the media or other social commentators would find the opportunity to denigrate or say things that might become a liability, that may lead to defamation. If it is straight, let it be straight. But we are just saying that don't convict and sentence her in the court of public opinion when she's not even under investigation. It's not even been brought that she's committed a crime. It is just an invitation.
It remains unclear when EOCO will follow up on their request, as they will not speak to the media.
A pressure group, Ghana Youth for Change and Development, is accusing the former management of Venture Capital Trust Fund of overseeing the disbursement of 32 million cedis as loans without recovery. The group insists the beneficiaries cannot be traced because they do not exist.
To figures presented by the current management of the Venture Capital Trust Fund to the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament in August 2016, over 18,260,984 cedis was disbursed to 205 companies between 2010 and 2015. The tenure for every loan was 12 months, which according to reports should have been paid by now. The outstanding balance still to be paid, principal and accrued interest inclusive, is over 32 million, reflecting a default rate of 92.81%. The group says it has discovered that the majority of the loan documents were with several irregularities such as fake applications, fake letterheads, fake signatures and missing documents.
Some of the loans had been made to the relatives and spouses of the loan processing officers themselves using fake registration documents.
The group said in the course of recovering the loan repayment from defaulters, bullion financial advisors who have been contracted as agents to help in recovery of loans granted discovered non-existent phone contacts and company locations.
It was further discovered, among other things, that large loans had been granted to companies supposedly owned by Mr. Doku's driver, the husband of a loan processing officer with no document on file, and the senior staff of VCTF.
The group had threatened to go to court to reclaim all the monies.
All right, so tonight, the entire country is expected to be generally very stable. However, few cases of isolated rains are expected over the middle sector and the western coast, with the coastal and northern sectors expected to be partly cloudy. Sunny conditions expected over the entire country tomorrow. Thunderstorm and rain expected over the middle and coastal sectors tomorrow evening. Let's find out how the weather will be throughout the night into tomorrow morning.
Still watching News 360. We have more news for you shortly. Stay with us. It's News 360. Thanks for staying with us. Let's do business now. My name is Nanikia Mensah. Starting with issues on power, the Electricity Company of Ghana says it can't assure consumers of reliable electricity supply during heavy rains. According to the Public Relations Manager, Dan Ej Labi, it has no control over third-party interference in its distribution network and damage to power lines during storms.
There is growing anger about power cuts to various homes and businesses anytime it rains. This is despite the insistence of stakeholders in the power sector that Ghana has largely overcome generational challenges in the sector. According to the ECG, their distribution network is being compromised by third-party interferences.
There are trees and other objects that fall on the lines when there is a storm. When that happens, it exposes some of these third-party issues that may cause power outage.
Energy policy think tank Africa Center for Energy Policy says the constant power cuts anytime it rains means Ghana is incurring costs to generate electricity but can't sell. Deputy Executive Director of ASEP, Benjamin Boache, says the situation is compounding the power sector debt.
With a little wind, you see transformers going down. And that is even worse than having generation shortfall. That is why investment in ECG is so critical that it cannot wait any further.
Well, consumers would have to brace up anytime there's about to rain. Other news, Deputy Chief of Staff Abu Jinapo has expressed government's determination to pay decent wages to workers after the next round of negotiations. This, he said, will restore the confidence and morale of both public and civil servants.
The Deputy Chief of Staff gave the assurance at the opening of a training program for civil servants from 3 West African countries comprising Ghana, Sierra Leone and Liberia. The 2 weeks training is on ethics and quality delivery for clients who visit the public and civil service and enforcement of the acts regulating professionalism in the service. Head of Civil Service Dana Jokum Jamana charged civil servants to eschew laziness.
When the people come, they want to start businesses. They want to go to Registrar General. They want to go to Land Title. They want to go to GRA. They want to go to all those offices and places to get services. It is imperative that all of us are to make sure that they do not go through unnecessary challenges.
Some civil and public servants have been complaining about inadequate wages and salaries, while others expressed concern over the low minimum wage paid to workers across the country. But the Deputy Chief of Staff Abu Jinapo assured workers of decent pay.
You are required to produce out of your training and deliberations here in Accra concrete proposals for the restructuring and reform of our respective civil services in order to sharpen it for the enormous task ahead of us. To my mind, the various governments must endeavor to attract the best talent to the public service and pay them a dignified and living wage.
And quickly, let's wrap it up with the currency market to see exactly how the city is faring against its major trading currencies. We've seen some stability from trading day Friday to today, beginning the week Monday. The city is still at 4 Ghana cedis, 19 pesos for the selling price. When it's being sold to you on the markets, well, it's hovering around 4 Ghana cedis, 18 to 19 pesos also when you're buying it from the banks. Remember, the prices would vary from one bank to the other, and the Forex Bureau prices would definitely be more than the interbank market. For the cedi to the Great British Pound, it is being bought at 5 Ghana cedis, 40 pesos, and it will be sold to you at 5 Ghana cedis, 41 pesos, depending also on where you decide to get it. And the cedi to the Euro tonight is at 4 Ghana cedis, 56 pesos. Same when it's being sold to you there on the interbank markets. Let's see if it would continue its appreciation, remain stable, or perhaps, well, I wouldn't call that, but depreciate against other major trading currencies. That would do for business this evening. My name is Nanekia Mensah-Brampa. Let's go back to Alfred and Natalie with News 360.
Well, I was actually surprised that the ECG says we cannot be assured of power when it rains.
You looked at my face when the story ended.
Yeah,
we
when
should be prepared for it. It means consumers.
Anytime it rains,
anytime.
we should just brace ourselves.
Anytime there's a wind, because he blamed it on trees and other.
Through a heavy wind.
Yes. That even vultures were causing power outages because they fall on the, the lines of the ECG.
I'm sure consumers will not take this lightly, but. Let's see what happens.
Absolutely. Well, let's see how it goes. And let's go to the central region now, where teenage girls at Breman Esikuman in the Breman Esikuman Dobeng Brakwa district of the central region allegedly offer sex for 1 Ghana cedi. The district last year was ranked the highest in teenage pregnancy prevalence. Development communication students of the African University College of Communications were in the town for an outreach program to provide solutions to the problem.
Parents attributed the high prevalence of teenage pregnancy in Breman Esikuma to deviant behavior and poverty. Majority of the teenage girls in the town are school dropouts and without vocational skills. Augustina Bafo is 20 years and already has 3 children who are not in school. Although she has not regretted giving birth at a tender age, she said feeding them has been a challenge. Like Augustina, 17-year-old Martha, who is currently a Form 2 student at the Breman Esukuma Junior High School, was impregnated by a 20-year-old boy. At the same time, her biological mother was also pregnant. She and her mother have both given birth, but the boy who impregnated Martha has abandoned the child, claiming he is not responsible for the pregnancy. She said she was compelled to go to bed with the boy because her parents were unable to provide her educational needs. She said she could not depend on 1 cedi for her upkeep given to her by her mother daily, so she agreed when the young man proposed to her, but she has regretted after giving birth.
If I had known that he would not cater for me and my child, I would not have gone into it. All he told me were lies.
A nurse at the Lady of Grace Hospital, Veronica Yaira Agbesi, said interventions by health authorities to reverse the trend had failed.
Right now that they can tell you we can do away with sex, then I will plead with my younger sisters that they should respect to use condoms and other contraceptives.
15 out of the 20 teenagers the news team interacted with are single parents. They confirmed teachers and taxi drivers are responsible for majority of the pregnancies. An elder of the community told an outreach team of development communication students of the African University College of Communications that teenage girls charge as low as 1 cedi to go to bed with men. The participatory research method used by the AUCC students is to devise a lasting solution to the problem. Communication lecturer at AUCC, Belinda Glover, is of the firm conviction the approach will yield desirable results.
Some of them were like, oh, they are just addicted to sex. And one would have asked, at this age, you're addicted to sex. Is that all that you can do for yourself? And you can see the number of children, like teenage mothers, 14, 15. How can you give birth at that age? How well can you take care of that child? And what future do you see that child in?
The Odobin Esikuma Brakwa district in 2011 recorded the highest syphilis cases in the country.
So concern has been raised that children at the age of 14, 15 say they are addicted to sex in the central region. Well, the prevalence rate or the rate of teenage pregnancy in the region, I'm talking about central region, has been on the decline for the past 5 years. But what you see on your screens right now is what pertains to the Esikuma Odobin Brakwa District Health Directorate. In 2012, between the ages of 10 and 14 years, girls got pregnant, about 13 of them. 15 to 19, 791. A total of about 804 teenage girls got pregnant. In 2013, between 10 and 14 years, 28 girls got pregnant. 15 to 19 years, 673. A total of about 701. Then there was an appreciation or an increase in the figure in 2014. A total of about 16 girls got pregnant between the ages of 10 and 14 years, and 725 girls between the ages of 15 and 19 got pregnant, totaling 741. In 2015, there was also an increase of the number of girls who got pregnant between the ages of 10 and 14 to 24, as against 2014, which was about 16. And then those between 15 and 19 years increased from 725 to 752, totaling 76. In 2016, between the ages of 10 and 14 years, 14 girls got pregnant. And between the ages of 15 and 19 years, 694 girls got pregnant, so about 708. So clearly that is the concern, a situation where drivers and teachers are said to be impregnating girls, about 1,000 of them in the region last year. Clearly a worry.
Very worrying for them at this age to say they're addicted to sex.
Absolutely,
I think that's a problem.
And that's a concern.
It is.
Let's get into what we have.
In other stories this evening, on Thursday, May 4, the Accra Metropolitan embarked on a decongestion exercise at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange to rid the city of unauthorized structures and trading activities. Our reporter Solis Rose Korte returned to Circle earlier today to assess the situation.
So this is the Kwame Nkrumah interchange, and we are back here after the AMA embarked
on an impromptu demolition exercise of all unwanted structures in the area. Now, the structures were totally burnt. Actually, on Thursday morning, that's the 4th of May, it was chaotic here at Circle. And we're back, TV3 being the first in news. We're doing a situational update. I'm just joined by the head of the Rapid Response Unit of the AMA, and as well as the Assembly Member for Kokomlemle East, Honorable Moses Abo. How long are you going to keep monitoring and making sure that this place, doesn't go back to the way it used to be?
Every day, because...
is it possible for you to do this every day? For how long?
I have been mandated, and then at the end of the month, I'll be paid. So every day, I'll position my boys, and then I'll be going rounds to monitor and see that they are on field working. Before, when the AMA come and do decongestion, they relax. So they thought it's a 9-day wonder, as you said. So after we are done and then we've gone home, we will not come here, they will come back and sell. So the way they have seen that the security is tight from Thursday up to now they have understand that it's not going to be allowed. They are not going to be allowed to sell on the pavement.
This is what Circle currently looks like as at today, Monday, the 8th of May, 4 days after the decongestion exercise by the AMA. We will be keeping you posted. I am Solace Rose Quarter reporting to you from Circle here in Accra.
Okay, so let's go over to Circle now to find out if the situation that is in the day where these hawkers have vacated the place, I'm talking about the pavements, is the same situation in the evenings. Godfred Tanam is my colleague. He is at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange now. Godfred, what is happening where you are? Okay, so what you see on your screens right now, Godfred is going to be joining us very shortly, but what you see on your screens right now is the return of the hawkers, literally, on the pavements where they were sacked just about 3 or 4 days ago. So during the day, the pavements are very clear and pedestrians enjoying the freedom. But what you see now is a blatant disregard for that directive by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly where the hawkers are there. Godfred, if you can hear me, you can take it over now.
See, the hawkers are back and they are trading and making business right here at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle on the pedestrian walkway. And we can see pedestrians also passing, while some are also buying stuff from the hawkers. And then we know the Accra Metropolitan Assembly has directed that they have to move, and then they are saying that there are the Accra Metropolitan Assembly is saying that there are guards who are making sure that they are not here. As we are here right now, we cannot see anybody who is making sure that the hawkers are not supposed to settle here and then sell. We can't see any AMA task force officer here to make sure that these people who are selling on the pedestrian walkway do not do so. And we don't know what exactly is happening. And that is exactly what is happening right here at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, where pedestrians walkway is being taken over by the hawkers who are selling all sort of items here. So we were right.
All right, so that's clearly the scene in the evening.
It's very different in the evening as opposed to in the day.
Trying to just outwit. But obviously, if you do not have guards,
that's a good point, because you mentioned none of them. He hasn't seen even one.
People will take advantage of
Certainly
the situation.
They will.
Sad one.
It is. But in other stories this evening, some caterers under the school feeding program want government to pay them through the banks and not through the mobile money platform, which began in October 2015. They lamented over the drudgery they go through having to withdraw money.
Lamented the difficulty they go through having to withdraw money.
When you receive your money, you can't go in for 10,000. You have to go in for 5,000. So I don't feel well with the mobile money. I think formally they use check. If they can repeat it for us, I would like it.
The Gender Ministry, which has oversight responsibility over the program, contracted MTN to get caterers in the Greater Accra region, Eastern, Western, Central and Volta paid through its mobile money network.
When you don't have anything to cook this food, you cannot go to mobile money for them to credit you anything. You see, but you can go in for bank because they know the work you are doing, they can give you some money. So I don't understand why they want to pay us with the mobile money.
Under the arrangement, the school feeding program releases the money to MTN, which in turn disburses it to the caterers through the mobile money platform. Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Otiko Afisa Jaba, last week disclosed that government has allocated 114 million cedis to offset all arrears owed caterers under the program. The caterers are very optimistic, though they have not been paid for having provided meals to beneficiaries of the program for 75 days. School reopens on Tuesday, May 9. However, contract of caterers with government under the program will expire at the end of July.
This bulletin is live on 3news.com as well as News on TV3 on Facebook. We return with more news shortly. Stay with us.
Hello, good evening. Sports News Time. First of all, we would be bringing you an update on the Suleiman Muntari case. He's been speaking for the first time, plus reaction from former Kotoko chairman Herbert Mensah on May 9 disaster, but an update from an ongoing English Premier League game with huge significance for both where the title ends and one of the relegation spots. Chelsea up by 2-0 against Middlesbrough. Diego Costa and Marcos Alonso, the left back, with those 2 goals there. If the result stays that way, Chelsea will need to win on Friday night to wrap up a first title under Antonio Conte. If it stays the same way tonight, Middlesbrough will be relegated. It will mean that there's only 1 spot left in the relegation slots in the English Premier League. So Chelsea 2-0 up, Diego Costa and Alonso with the goals for them. Elsewhere, Ghanaian midfielder Suleiman Muntari says he will walk off the pitch again and insists FIFA and UEFA are not taking racism serious. Muntari, who's been speaking today, told CNN in an interview that racism is everywhere and says it's getting worse by the day.
A lot. Recently.
Every game?
A lot. Every game. Yesterday it was happening.
Even in yesterday's game?
I was sitting down, it was happening. There was a player playing, it was happening in the stands. So how are we going to tackle this? This is not the first time that this has happened. A lot of times. A lot. So, and then we talk about it. After maybe 1 week, 2 weeks, it's gone. And then after maybe a month or 2 later, it happens somewhere, and then you get interviewed, you get called to talk about it, and then it's shut again. There's a lot to do about it. Yeah. I am, of course, and I'll be number one. I'll be part of it. Anywhere I'll go. Anywhere I'll go.
So just background on that issue. Remember, Suleiman Muntari was playing for Pescara in a game against Cagliari. He said he was being racially abused. He was being racially abused. He was shown a yellow card. He walked off because he said the referee did not take the issue seriously. He was suspended, but worldwide pressure meant that the Italian Football Federation lifted the ban last week. We'll hear a bit more about that later. In the Ghana Premier League, Accra House of Folk are up to 3rd after a 2-1 win over leaders Wafa. The House of Folk win also ended a superb run of 6 wins and 1 draw in 7 games by the Sogakope side, which took them to top of the league. Wafa are still top of the league, but only on goal difference from Mediana Stars. They had no answers to House of Folk's movement, though Thomas Abe put the Phobians ahead after only 3 minutes before Wilfred Kobler's free kick and Razak Abalowe's poor handling helped them double the lead. Abubakar Ibrahim scored a consolation for Wafa with 2 minutes remaining. Elsewhere in the Ghana Premier League, Elmina Sharks Mediama beat Elmina Sharks 3-1 in Takwa to move up 2 places tonight. Sharks have dropped to 13, just 1 point above the relegation zone ahead of Great Olympics. And tomorrow will mark at least 16 years since the May 9 Stadium disaster in Accra, which claimed an incredible lot of lives. Now, former Kotoko chairman Herbert Mensah says that he does not think enough is being done for survivors and victims of the tragedy.
It has been 16 years since Africa's biggest stadium disaster struck, but the pain for many remains raw. 127 football fans lost their lives that day at the Ohinijan Sports Stadium as a game between Hearts and Kotoko spilled over into the violence in the stands and later police overreaction. Since then, victims and families of those who lost their lives in the tragedy have always marked it with various activities, and this year has not been any different. There was a walk in Kumasi last week, a meeting with the Asantehene Otumfuo Setutu, and more activities planned in Accra. Former Asante Kotoko chairman Herbert Mensah, who witnessed the disaster at close range in 2001, has been at the forefront of the commemorations and says many of the victims and survivors have been let down badly.
You must now go and ask governments what they've done to protect the interests of the common man. Because it was the true heroes who died that day. The true heroes are not politicians. They are not heroes at all. The true heroes are the common man. They're the ones who died in the stadium. They're the ones whose houses we went to that some could not bury their dead, who were left on a plank, who cried and could not feed themselves. They are the true heroes. Who, when we say they've done nothing, they become offended and issue some kind of immature rhetoric to try and balance the impotence of their positions.
There will be more.
Well, season 8 of Talented Kids was exciting, but the grand finale was even more awesome. Patrons had lots of fun and were entertained to their expectations. Here are some sights and sounds from the show.
The finale of Talented Kids Season 8 was a complete sold-out full of exciting sounds and sights. Some former participants showed their solidarity. The finalists had the opportunity also to perform along some of their favorites in the industry. Visually impaired singer Christian Morgan, who has been an ardent fan of award-winning musician Kofi Kinata, performed with his mentor in an enthusiastic manner which got the audience jamming along. It did not end there. Dancehall magician Samini was there to entertain the crowd too. The crowd liveliness was everything that was expected of a live audience. And finally, when DJ Switch was announced winner, the crowd went gaga.
A very exciting finale there. And some players in the music industry say events which scout for children's talent should be supported to boost their confidence. They made the observation after the brilliant display by Season 8 finalist of TV3's Talented Kids show.
Some of the entertainers who graced the finale of Talented Kids Season 8 say such events will help children unleash their God-given talent and improve on them. They admonished government to support such initiatives to nurture talent.
I believe parents watching this will be moved to allow their children to, reach for the highest and go for their goals. You know, creativity and talent begins at very, very tender ages, and if you are lucky to be allowed to explore your talent at a very early age, then it gives you the chance to get ahead of yourself in a lot of things.
Kids always look up to people they see on TV, names they hear of all the time, and it's amazing to see that they look up to someone like me, and that's why I always try to impact positively on kids like this, because they are the future of Ghana. So it's amazing to be part of this and to support them in this way.
When they have their own programs like this, it's kind of cool. It motivates them. This time around, talent and stuff like that sells a lot. And Yeah, children are mostly born with talents. They have to allow them to express themselves.
The finale of the Talented Kids Season 8, which came off at the National Theatre on Sunday, saw 9-year-old Erica Tando, better known as DJ Swish, emerge winner. She beat 7 other finalists to clinch the ultimate title.
Yeah.
Great future ahead of her and all of them.
Absolutely, she deserves it. Christian Morgan and all of those people. Congratulations to everyone.
Yeah, it was a wonderful, exciting program.
Well, that's it for the news tonight. My name is Alfred Okanse.
And I'm Natalie Force. Thanks so much for your time. Next is Do Not Love Me So Much. Have a good evening.